Hey, what's up, guys? So today I'm going to show you how to simply record and mix your guitar in the easiest way possible, and it is very simple. And I hope you learned something from it and you can start recording your guitars and putting your videos out there. Alright, so let's get into it. So, the things you will need for recording your guitar is very simple and affordable. You don't need no fancy amp, and you don't need any fancy pedals or effects or anything like that. If you're a gigging musician and you have that stuff, then cool. Like myself, I play in my church a lot, so I have my amp, effects board, and mic and that type of stuff. But you don't need that if you're just starting out and you just want to record videos for YouTube, and you don't even need a fancy camera. You can probably upgrade that later on if you want to, but you don't technically need it because you can use something as simple as your phone and just a phone stand and some good lighting. Like, you could get a ring light or something and you're good to go if you want to record like video with it. um but yeah, so the things that you will need for sure to record your guitar is an audio interface, which is one of these, right? This is the Focusrite Scarlett Solo. I got this a couple years ago and I've been using it for a long time and it still works great, right? So you would just need one of these. They're very affordable. The reason I have the Solo is because I don't need much from it. It's just the input, one input of your guitar, and your headphones out, and that's it. And your left and right if you want to hook up studio speakers, which I do have, and I do hook them up from time to time. But most of the time I just use my headphones. uh Another thing you would need if you don't have studio speakers is a pair of in-ear monitors, which, let me get these out. So look like this. You see if it focus on, right? So these are in-ear monitors, right? And you use these to record. And if you can't afford one of these right now, simple pair of headphones will do. And along with that, you just need a like a headphone jack converter, which is one of this. It's like a 1/4 inch to USB 3.5 millimeter jack, and you just hook it up and it converts your like sound from the audio interface for you, and you're good to go, right? So those are the physical things you'll need, and obviously you'll need your guitar, right? So I have my guitar here, I have my audio interface, and my headphones, and that's all you need: cable, guitar, audio interface, headphones. That's it. And of course, the main thing is your PC or your laptop. After that, you should be fine to record whatever you want. So after you have all this stuff, you would need to get what we call a DAW, or digital audio workstation. Basically, this is the program that you're going to use to basically mix your guitars in and record stuff in, right? So there's a bunch. For Mac OS there's Logic, for Windows there's Ableton, there's Adobe Audition. Even though Adobe Audition is like more of a, it's an audio software, but I used to use it as a DAW sometimes, but like when I first started. And there's a free one that I used to use, and I'll give you guys it. And everything that I say here, the link is in the description down below. You can check it out. There's something called Cakewalk by BandLab, and it is free. You can download it if you don't want to pay for a DAW, and it's free. It's free. It's not very complicated, and it's simple to use for beginners. I would recommend it for beginners, and there's a ton of videos on YouTube. If you get confused or you get lost, you can just search up the DAW that you have. Like, if you download the Cakewalk, you just search up Cakewalk on YouTube, how to do this and that, and there's a bunch of videos showing you how to do that. I used to use Adobe Audition, and I used that for a couple months, and then I switched to Cakewalk for some years, And then after I switched to Ableton. So today we're gonna be using Ableton, and yeah. So now you know all the equipment that you need. I'm gonna plug everything up and then show you guys how we actually start recording. All right, so here we are with everything plugged up. And if you'll notice, I have Ableton open, but you'll see something on my screen, which is Archetype Mateus Asado, right? But you're probably wondering, what is that? That is a guitar plug-in. So what a plugin is basically a simulator of a guitar amp that you can use when you plug in your guitar to your audio interface. Because if you plug in your guitar, you hook up your audio interface, you plug in your guitar to it, you put your headphones on, and you start jamming away, and you're like, wait, I'm not getting like any sound at all. Your guitar's just dry. What you need is a guitar plugin. Well, what I'm using right now is Archetype Mateus Sasato by Neural DSP. It is a paid product, but you do have the option to have a 2 week free trial on any Neural DSP plugins, which you can download yourself, no charge, no anything. You just need your email, sign up, and you have 2 weeks to use the plugin, and you can test it out, play with it. You can record with it. You can put stuff out with it. They don't charge you anything at all. You have a 2 week free trial to do whatever you want. If you like it, you can decide if you want to buy it or not. However, you don't need the exact same DSP plugins that I have. What you can get is there's free plugins. There's some free plugins that you can get, and there's Native Instruments Guitar Rig. There's Blue Cat's free amp. There's the one that's similar to this and is free is Neural Amp Modeler, and that's honestly all you need. You just go to the site for Neural Amp Modeler or whichever one you want to get, uh, and you just download it, install the Windows installer or Mac installer, depending on what you have, and you boot it up. Now, some plugins don't work by themselves, and what I mean is that if you open them up, they're gonna be like, "Oh, we can't open on the desktop without like the DAW." So with Neural DSP plugins, what I'm using right now, you can open them up and just have them solely by themselves and use it by itself. And you can play along with tracks and do whatever you want. Uh, but some other like plugins, you need to have your DAW open, like how I have Ableton open right now, and then you load it up in the DAW. So you actually like go over here. So if I exit off and you see like on the side here, I have all this stuff. You'll see something called plugins. Your plugins are supposed to be here for and they're called VST plugins, and they'll pop up here in plugins, and then you just literally drag it to a track and you put the monitoring on, and then you just pick whatever tones that you want. So that's how some plugins work, where you need to have the DAW open, right? So now that you have everything set up, I'm literally just gonna wipe this dry in Ableton. We're gonna delete all this stuff, and we're gonna make it very simple, right? So this is how your DAW is gonna look, and if you'll see here, you'll see I have 1 and 2 audio options, and you'll see on track audio 2, you'll see I have it set to number 2. And if I do this with my guitar, you'll see that it's like getting sound. However, if I switch it to 1, it's not gonna get anything because it doesn't have a channel 1, because I'm using the Scarlett Focusrite Solo. If I had stereo plugin and I put it to 1, something else would have popped up. However, I'm only using 1 mono, so basically, if I strum on 2, that's where my sound comes in from, and that's how you know your guitar is being picked up by your computer. So, how do we record something? So I have my guitar plugged in, I have my DAW, and I have my guitar plugins. And we're like, all right, let's record something. So you just find a song that you want, you download it. I'm gonna use something that I have already. Let's just see here. Let's use Dose by Intervals. And also another thing is in your audio software, you're going to want to make sure that everything is set to your audio interface. So you're going to go to options or preferences or whatever software you're using. If they have preferences or options, that's what you're going to click. You're going to go in the audio section. You're going to make sure that the input is your Scarlett Solo or whatever audio interface you're using, and the output is also your Scarlett Solo because that's what's coming through your inner monitors or your headphones. You're going to leave it like that, and then everything should be fine. So now I can hear it. Sorry if it's a little loud. Let me lower the volume to at least like 8. All right. So now we have our song and we have everything that we need. So now we're going to record. So you're going to arm this, which is going to be the big red button. You're going to arm that for recording. And if you want, before like you start going through everything, you can do a practice run through. You can do a practice playthrough. I'm just going to have my Neural DSP plugins up on the side. You can't see it because I have two monitors and I'm only recording the main monitor right now with Ableton, but you can hear me. Right? So we can do a practice run and then we can record and I'll show you how to mix it real quick and everything should be fine. Because the thing is, you don't need to be mixing stuff like perfectly like you're in the studio with a big record. Once it's good enough for you to clearly hear yourself and hear the track, and it's not clipping, then you're fine. Over time, you will learn more if you watch more videos and you learn from people who already might be recording and you have some friends and you ask them a couple questions and you learn over time. But basically, all you want is to be able to hear your guitar while hearing the track clearly, making sure that your guitar is not louder than the track and the track isn't louder than your guitar and it fits really well. And just make sure that your audio isn't clipping. And after that, like, it's fine. If you like it, then great. So we're gonna do a run through here and we'll see how it goes, and then I'm gonna actually record something. Right. All right. So now that we did a practice run through, we're actually going to record. So I'm already armed this for recording, and I just have to hit the record button, and then we can just that's and I just have to hit the record button, and then we can just go and start mixing from there and trying tones out, and I'll show you how to do all that. All right. So let's go. Okay, and now you've officially recorded your guitars. I don't need my guitar anymore because we're going to put this down. So we're going to unplug it and put it back over here. Let's get my pick to the side. So now we are in the fun process, right? We're just going to mix this real quick. So basically what you're going to hear, I'm going to mute the actual song. So you're just going to hear my guitar, and your guitar is going to sound like this. And you're like, it sounds like dry. Nothing's there. That's because you don't have your plugins on the channel that you want it to be on. So if you're recorded on this layer, I'm gonna pull one of my plugins, which is Archetype Mateus Asado. I'm gonna pull it and drag it onto there. Gonna see it come up, and this is how it's gonna look. Depending on what plugins you have, it's gonna be different, but essentially this is how it's gonna look, and you're gonna be able to change the options, right? So I'm just gonna use one of my presets that I have called Bright Burn, and we're gonna exit off. So it's already there. You see Archetype Mateus Asado there, right? And now if I play it back, it's gonna have the effects. Right? But you can hear it's screeching a bit. So what you can do is go here and lower your gate a little bit in the actual plugin. You can lower the gate or raise the gate, and depending on how it goes, you'll get the buzzing to disappear, right? But usually I don't do that because my plugins are already set the way I like them, and I use a plugin called Filter Step, and basically it does the same thing. These are free plugins. This you can get for free. Filter Step you can get for free. It's free, and all you have to do is log in with your Gmail or Yahoo account or whatever email you want to use, and that's how it goes. So I'm gonna take the resonance off. I'm gonna take the filter range off, and I'm gonna leave smooth at medium, and then it's probably gonna sound a little bit better there. And it's already better. So I'm just gonna go on the filter step option and go to, sorry, not smoother. I'm gonna quantize, and that's already sounding better there. And you can honestly, you're probably like, all right, well I can just leave this like this because the track is gonna sound, it's gonna sound like this. So I put the track back on, right? So I put the 2 back on, and this is how it's gonna sound. Obviously, you don't want it to sound like that when it gets to the higher buildup, because if you watch underneath here, which is my master, it's clipping a lot, and that means that it's in the red zone. Look. So you don't want it to be like that. You want it to be level. So we're gonna lower the master track to -5 right now. And then we're gonna go back to the beginning of this. We're gonna lower this track to -5. We're gonna lower our guitars to -3. Something else I like to do to stack and make it sound a little bit bigger and fuller, I like to copy everything. So I'm gonna copy the actual track. Not what I meant. I'm gonna copy the actual track, paste it here, and copy the actual guitars and paste it here. And there we go. We have double, right? But that's going to sound extra loud. So what you like to do is pan it out left and right. So what I'm going to do on the first one is going to go 35 on the right and -35 for the left side. Same thing with this, 35 on the right, -35 for the left. And we're going to play that and see how it sounds. That's usually how I simply mix everything. Like a simple, just quick draft up. And then after that, you can do more detailed things with your mix. So let's go and see how that sounds. that immediately sounds better. You can clearly see that nothing is clipping. What you can go ahead and do as well is like when it reaches the buildup, you can cut it because obviously it sounds like our guitar is getting buried a little bit under the actual track. And like I said, you don't want it to sound that way. So what we're gonna do is cut it and drop it in a two new tracks the same way. And right, so we can drop the volume back to 0 to the original because it's on the build up now. Right, so let's see how that sounds. That immediately sounds better. What you can do as well, if you're using neural DSP plugins, is I like to make it sound a little more full, depending on the song. And in this sense, you can put the doubler on, which is something cool that neural DSP has implemented, which basically makes your guitar sound like a full like stereotype, and it sounds more full. So technically, if I have the doubler on once and I have it on twice, it's like four guitars coming through, if that makes sense to you. So that already sounds cool. So if we put it from this from the beginning, and also what I also like to do is cut out the like dead spaces in the recording. So you see like how over here it's literally just like nothing. And I don't like that. You can probably hear a little buzzing from the guitar, and you're always gonna get that little buzz no matter how much you do if you use distortion. Because if you do too much to your tone in terms of plugins, you're just gonna mess your tone up, and then you're gonna be like, I don't like how my guitar sounds. So let's just cut this out and just drag it so it's not there anymore. And that's it. That's how you record your guitars in 2026. Very simple, very like sleek, and you don't need a bunch of things for it. Just need to put out a little bit of cash for an audio interface, and obviously I'm sure everybody got headphones, so good to go because you already got your guitar and you got your DAW, you got everything. So that's how simple it is. And like I said, if you wanted to record videos and you don't have a proper camera, getting a phone stand and using your phone is very much fine. Just make sure that you're using the right settings on your camera on the phone, and you're good to go. So I hope you guys learned something from this. I hope I helped you out and taught you some things. And I hope to see more of you guys like uploading videos and stuff, because I love watching other guitarists coming up like myself and doing like covers of songs or their own arrangements. It's quite fun to watch. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you want. I'm not really big on that stuff, but if you guys want to see more from me and want me to upload some more content, or you just want to be notified whenever I like put out some new things, then hit that subscribe button. But yeah, once again, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.